Business Focus with Kudzi Sharara on the Champions League Breakfast.
Morning, but all the same, I'll give you business focus, starting with what happened on the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange, where the ZSE All-Share Index put on a marginal 0.54%. So this is a recovery on the ZSE. Remember, in the last couple of days, the ZSE has been coming off, but yesterday it recovered with the All-Share Index adding that 0.54%. The top 10 index doing a little bit better with a 0.58% gain. Just looking at which stocks helped the market recover, CFI there being the top riser with a 14.99% gain, followed by NMB up by 14%, BAT putting on 11%, CBZ adding 2.85%. Remember, CBZ is on a restructuring exercise and they have already let go of 13 executives out of the 34 that they have. So 38% of the senior executives at CBZ having gone on a garden leave. And then Wildo also positive by a marginal 0.39%. However, the market was not short of losers, with Unifreight being the biggest loser with a 7.1% drop. Remember, Unifreight is the top performer so far in the year with a 901% gain since the introduction of ZiG. And then ZHL also putting on 5.9%, losing 5.9%. Star Africa also easing by 4.83%, Kafka dropping 4.44%, and then OK Zimbabwe also coming off by 3.32%. Remember, OK Zimbabwe is one of the retailers in Zimbabwe, biggest retailers in Zimbabwe, and they are caught in the ZiG crisis, if we may call it a crisis for now, given that it has fallen significantly. It has lost between 40 to 50% of its value since introduction, and it has resulted in a significant instability of not only prices, in especially informal outlets such as OK Zimbabwe. And for the first time in a very, very long time, we have seen big retailers such as OK Zimbabwe, although they've been saying this individually through their trading updates, through their statements accompanying their financial results. It's been a long time since we saw major retailers coming together and trying to talk to government in terms of how the exchange rate has been an impact on their business. So big retailers such as Truworth, Edgar's, OK Zimbabwe, TM Pick and Pay, Spar, Food World, Housesteads, Electrocells, Pelams, Metro Pitch, and Brownie, as well as FarmBiz came together just over the weekend to release a statement under the Retailers Association of Zimbabwe, and talking about how the exchange rate dynamics and its impact on pricing and compliance. And we have also seen the other Retailers Association led by Denford Mutashu, also coming out with their statements, just talking about the state of the retail sector, and to some extent blaming local manufacturers. And I think the statement by the retailers led by Denford Mutashu went as far as asking government to open the borders to protect them from monopolistic manufacturers, according to that statement. So I think this morning, the manufacturing sector led by CZI and the FMCG, that's the retailers, fast moving consumer goods manufacturing sector, as well as retailers, they are engaging this morning in Newlands at the Country Club. I think they want to iron out their issues so that there is some kind of a blame game there. So according to this statement released by CZI, it says CZI will be hosting a key fast-moving consumer goods manufacturing and retail engagement to address the trading challenges in the obtaining foreign currency and exchange rate environment. So this is a dialogue that is going to take place. I think it's good that there is that dialogue between manufacturers and the retail sector, so that they can find each other and probably even come up with ways of how they can help each other navigate the challenges that they are facing, given the fallout of the exchange rate, given what is happening with the ZiG. So yeah, that's the conversation that is taking place this morning at the country club between manufacturers and retailers. Hopefully they will be able to come up with a solution. I saw this morning someone posted on Twitter saying that, that small bottle of Vaseline, the smallest one, going for $7. So that's now ridiculous. $7 for that small bottle. And some can say it's because of greedy, some can say it's because of profiteering, some can say because of indiscipline, some can say it's economic sabotage, whatever you call it. The reason why we have it now is because of the distortions that we find on the currency front. It creates, in some cases, what is called arbitrage opportunity. And obviously, people then come up with all sorts of ways of pricing their products. And you cannot rule out those who are going to do it because they are greedy. You cannot rule out those who are doing it because they are economic saboteurs. You cannot rule out those who are doing it because they've got other agendas. But the bottom line is that an environment would have been created that allows people to do these things. If the ZiG was stable, people would have found it difficult to price their products the way they are pricing their products at the moment. So let's sort out the exchange rate and everything goes away. So that's I think that's a part of Business Focus. I'll come back with other issues that are taking place in the Zimbabwean economy.
Business Focus with Kudzi Sharara on the Champions League Breakfast.
Welcome back. So I thought I could just give you some updates in terms of what's happening in our economy. So a lot of people have been asking to say, why can't we buy fuel with ZiG? That has been the question for most people, and others were saying, if you can't buy fuel with ZiG, it means that ZiG has no value. So the Minister of Finance and Economic Development, Prof Mthuli Ncube, was asked in Parliament last week to say, why can't we buy fuel in ZiG? And this was his answer. And I think this is the first time that government has admitted or have given the real reason why fuel cannot be sold in ZiG and it can only be sold in US dollars. So the minister said that they've allowed fuel dealers to continue to trade and to sell fuel only in ZiG because the official system, so we're talking about the interbank and probably the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe, does not have enough US dollars or will not be able to get enough US dollars to give the fuel dealers if they sell in ZiG. So this is an admission by the Minister of Finance. I think it's if you look for the hindsight of last week or if you look at today's Herald, you'll find out that the minister saying that, look, we cannot guarantee giving fuel dealers all the money that they will need to be able to import fuel. So we would rather have them get fuel from the free funds that people have. You know, some people get their remittances, you get them from your money transfer agents, you take your US dollars and you use those US dollars freely. And I think government thought it wise that it can tap into those free funds and allow fuel dealers to be able to source their own foreign currency. I think we have seen it with what's happening with retail chains, the likes of the likes of Pick and Pay, where people are allowed to freely buy products in ZiG. And at the end of the day, the official system does not have sufficient funds to give to these importers. And I think we have seen it. A pipeline of demand for foreign currency has been growing on the official market, and resulting in the parallel market premium growing to now 100%, because the official system has failed to provide enough foreign currency to those who want to import. So imagine if this was going to happen to fuel dealers as well. If they were to sell in ZiG and then they go to the interbank market, they can't find enough US dollars. If they go to the Reserve Bank, they can't find enough US dollars. Or the Reserve Bank, as it has done in the past, in the recent past, delays in availing foreign currency to the market. Imagine what would happen. Those fuel queues that we used to see some time back, I think around 2019, will resurface. So I think this is an honest admission by government that look, we don't have a system in place that can guarantee that fuel dealers will be able to get enough foreign currency for what they want to do. So yes, government is building reserves, but if you look at the fuel import bill, I think those reserves are not enough to meet fuel requirements for like 6 months. We don't have enough reserves as yet. So I think there's need to build reserves from the current around roughly 400 million to what they normally say. I think they've said 2.5 billion is what they need in reserves for us to go monocurrency, or to have increased use of ZiG. So 2.5 billion is what they are looking at. $2.5 billion, I think it allows you to import goods worth 2.5 billion before you can actually replenish. But with just 400 million that they have now, if we don't have any foreign currency inflows for the next let's say 2 or so months, we will not have enough foreign currency to import. If, for example, today all foreign currency inflows are to stop, the 400 million that they have in reserves will be quickly wiped out. So with 2.5 billion, I think it gives you a cushion to then say, okay, we're not getting enough foreign currency inflows. What do we need to do to make sure that we do not use all our reserves before we can start to get inflows again? This is just hypothetical to say you need a good buffer to say we now have enough reserves to go monocurrency, because you know that whatever hiccups, whatever shortfalls that comes into the market, you'll be able to deal with them and inject foreign currency into the market for it to work. Just by 2 cents on that one. So that's another piece of news coming from Parliament. I'll be back with another update also coming from Parliament.
Business Focus with Mthuli Ncube on the Champions League Breakfast.